welcome to the Noir Boudoir. We're here for part 2 of the video that we did, whatever that was, about 20 minutes ago. I've already forgotten. The one where we talk about the things that we liked.
Our favourite bits of Empire.
Sammy, he's ruining it.
Just click your fingers!
Anyway, without further ado...
Why did I nearly get stabbed?
Well, that's definitely a noir boudoir,
So this
isn't
is part of the House Vexil dance, actually.
it? What, with the
you
cheese?
collect the cheese.
I'll collect the cheese. Do you want to... Oh, god damn it. Why is there so much cheese?
Where did my piece of wax go?
No, it's over here.
Oh, on that bag. So good.
And a pear.
Yes, oh, I've got the other one in my
You've got
lap.
the other one.
A pair of pears.
Right.
You've got a pair of pears. Right, there you
now
go.
that you've disrupted everything,
Yes.
you can start.
Am I starting now?
Oh, or do you
I think Matt should start.
What is this? Number 4.
Number 4.
Be number 4.
Part
So another little thing I made was very much an inspired idea by something someone else wears, or that there's a group of people that wear something and they all have particular titles, and I thought I would very much like to make something for our equivalent of that same title. So I just made a little item.
It's being really cryptic.
I am being very
So
cryptic.
cryptic.
So I made a little item, and it was just a little acid etched metal pendant. I did it in brass.
Yeah, it's not even a spoiler to just say what.
Well, no. So I did this. I know because I want to build up to it, and then I'll tell you.
He's painting us a picture.
So
He's
I made
Bob
this,
Rossing it.
I made this little brass pendant, and it had a little song written around the edge about the thing it was about, and it had some Wintermark runes on it, because it was very much tied to the idea that it used to be a Wintermark.
Okay.
And I've been wanting to get an item hallowed for a very long time, because it's a way to get a named item in the game. So it's a way to get an item, even after it expires, or even if it's a non-magical item, it's a way to give your a specific item a name, so that in effect it's one way to make an item of worth. It still has to be an item that accrues worth, that you do things with, that has an interesting story, but it's just another little it's another little interesting thing that can get other people involved and create a little bit of game for people. So I got this item hallowed, and I got a really cool vigilance hallow on it by a priest that I'd had a letter from them.
Yeah.
And they sounded really cool, and I really wanted to meet them. So we met up incredibly briefly because I had so much other stuff to do, and I really wanted to chat with this priest for longer and actually sit down and have a proper chat with them. But they gave me a gift, and then I asked if they'd be willing to hallow this item for me, because they were of the virtue that I wanted the hallowing to be.
Yeah.
So they went away and they hallowed it for me, and I brought it back. And I got it, and obviously it comes on a ribbon. So what I did was I very carefully, I tied the ribbon to a little string around the item.
Yeah.
And then I scrunched the ribbon up in my fist, and I held the little medallion, so it just looked like I was holding a medallion, and there was nothing else attached. So I then went up to our new senator, and I said something along the lines of, you are now the voice of our nation, and I have a gift to you that shows you your responsibility.
Okay.
And I gave them this gift, and I did a bit like another one of my favourite moments. I did a little spiel about what this meant to me and what this should mean to them, and I gave them this item. And as they looked down on it and they tried to read, I could see they were reading the words along the outside.
Yeah.
And I let go of it and I walked off. And I just didn't say anything, I just walked off. Because what I wanted to do was, as I walked off, they'd see the ribbon,
Yeah.
which they hadn't seen when they picked it up, so that in effect when I left, they'd almost look at the item and realise, oh, there's something special about this. And then of course he read the ribbon and he read what
Yeah.
what the very cool, appropriate effect was.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that I didn't get to do that to our first senator. It didn't matter who got it. Basically, I was going to do this to whoever won the election.
Okay.
And it happened that we got a new senator.
Yeah,
And
to
who
be
was-
fair, that was our first ever. Well, that was my first ever Empire event, and your first
Yeah.
Orc event. So
But this would have been something I would have done regardless of who got it. But I felt it was a really nice, tiny little bit of... It was another little bit of... This is part of Fal's backstory that never really gets spoken about. But when it does, it means I can have some really cool little moments. And I did. And I very much enjoyed it. And I hope Rurik did too.
good.
Very nice.
Andrea,
Yourself,
Andrea,
is it my go?
you
now?
next.
you next.
Oof. So very similar to Matt. This kind of involves the same person.
Would
It
that
does
would that be a
involve-
new senator? Would it?
It does involve our new senator.
And who's our new senator?
Our new senator is Felrictus Rurik.
Oh my god.
I know.
Peter
I believe
Christmas
he
Rurik.
has also been swimming the season.
He's always said it.
Has he?
Yes, Rurik has been swimming the season. Anyway, that's by the by. Basically, I kind of knew from previous conversations that Raw and Rurik have had that Rurik was going to go for senator.
Yeah.
And some things have happened between our banners.
Top goss.
Top goss. I'm
Mhm.
not going to go deeply into it. If you were part of it, you were part of it. If you weren't, you weren't. And basically, I've been bigged up, and you know, some people had seeded something in my brain space, and I spent about 3 months running up to this event, going, do I do this? Do I not do this? Do I do this? Do I not do this? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Basically, I almost stood to be senator. It is the thing that stopped me was I do not think I will enjoy the Senate game
Okay.
at all. And honestly, that's just not worth taking it from someone who actually would enjoy it. You know, but basically, I almost stood for senator to block Rurik from getting senator.
Yeah.
And it was kind of insane. Instead, I chose the more diplomatic option to call him out for the thing
That
what
he done.
we've done,
The naughty thing.
the naughty step, and you know, it didn't really change anything.
Nope.
But it felt so cool, and I'm so glad that I did it. Like,
It was such a cool moment that... Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But so obviously they'd done their speeches, and then Merlo, the civil servant, said, it's now time to vote. And I believe Morgul went first,
then
and he
Crunk.
voted, and then Crunk went, and then you went, and rather than just voting... So previously, you would just put your weapon down in front of the candidate, and then you'd walk off. But for this one, I don't know whether it was for a different reason or whatnot, but the idea was you stood behind your candidate.
Yeah.
And you basically took the opportunity to talk.
Yeah.
And I think Merlo said, this isn't the time.
I asked, I was like, I need to say something. And he was like, I don't think that's how it works. And I was like, it's really important. And I'm like, mate, you can try and fucking stop me, but I will just do it anyway. And he was like, whatever. And I called Rurik out for this thing that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And I used all this, like, speech to go and like big up to core before anyone else could vote, and you know I really tried to help. Yeah, turns out it didn't make any difference whatsoever, but whatever, games. And then like after that, there was like a kind of like amnesty between me and Rick. I'm almost frustrated that certain members of my banner felt the need to go and tell him that this was coming, because I really felt like it would have more impact if
Did someone spoil it?
Someone did spoil it. We will not be naming their name. Fucking jerk off. Anyway, whatever. It was games. It was totes games. And anyway, Rurik had invited me to say what I needed to say. But I was going to say it anyway. And it was super cool. I felt like I spoke well. It didn't make any difference. It was pretty dope. It was just awesome. And that was easily. I kind of wish that I had spoken about that in the first video, but whatever. I said then, no particular order.
Okay.
Over to you.
Over to me. I think one of the highlights for this event with me is I have now managed to get a name for myself within the Imperial Orcs. Like, everyone knows who I am. And for me, I think that's a real achievement with being able to do it within a year. You know, there's obviously, like last year, you know, with all the stuff that I did with Scar and things like that, it built up quite a name for myself. But this time round, I kind of feel like when I got to Anvil, everyone knew who I was. And it was always like everyone saying hello, like asking me how I was, like interacting with my character and everything like that. And I felt very much that the nation as a whole had accepted me. No, I'm not saying that, you know, they didn't accept me after E1.
Yeah.
Not at all, but I kind of felt I didn't have to live up to anything. I didn't have to try and be an Imperial Orc. I was one, and I was my version of an Imperial Orc had been accepted by everyone.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, walking away from this event, I kind of feel that I have established my name. And that I kind of feel really proud about, if I'm honest. So I think, yeah, it's not a like super elaborate moment like your one, Matt, but I think for me, walking away with that kind of pride that, you know, the work that I have put in, you know, with the pit or with talking to people, like I started talking to Dave's character about thief taking stuff and all that jargon.
Cool.
Like, I wouldn't have done that a year ago. Like, you know, I was hanging out with, like, the Stormcrows, like, when they were singing around the fire doing their sea shanties and things like that. You know, last year I would have never kind of done that. And I kind of just feel like now, I don't have to try. It's just, it's there. It's everything is, I can do anything I want within the Imperial Orcs. And
Good.
it's cool.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I think that's one of my ones.
I think that's one of the best things about being part of such a small nation, is because it is. I mean, you know, last year we could all kind of feasibly fit in a little pub.
Yeah.
Well, in
Yes.
fact, we did when we first started. We went on York Social when we all fit around one. You know, everybody
One
went
table,
was around
yeah.
one table, and that was incredible.
Mm.
You know, like the Imperial was just great. Anyway, sorry.
Is that-
Yeah, that's it for my first one.
Go, Matt. It's your turn.
So I think this is my last one. Well, this is the last one on my list, and I think it is a little bit of a long one. So I hope that's all right.
It was super good. Mine was super short.
Unacceptable.
So this event, something very strange and incredible happened.
Okay.
And it was something that if you'd said even 2 seasons ago or a year ago, the game as a as an entity, like out of character, the game wouldn't have been able to allow this to happen. So we had what in-game was called the Liberty Pact Summit. And it was a forum, in effect, where a lot of the characters that I am involved with in the consulate and the imperial offices extended a hand of I don't know what the word is. Extended like a proposal that we would try something international between our big nations. So there are nations in the game that are as big as the Empire that we can in some way affect and that we can at least interact with. And the Liberty Pact was an effort that we had made for at least the last year, if not longer, to start, and this is all we had planned, was to start the in-game eradication of slavery. So of course the Imperial Orcs used to be slaves, and a lot of our backstory is we were slaves.
Yeah.
Slavery as a concept is quite a strong part of the foreign policy game, and that a lot of other nations that aren't in play but exist in the world have slavery as part of their culture. And as characters, we took a stance that we wanted to get rid of it. We didn't just want to get rid of it close by, but we wanted to get rid of it everywhere. So a group of players sent invitations to their nation, their representative nations, to come and talk about getting rid of slavery. And very big parts of the game have been adapted and expanded upon and changed to allow us to have much more interactions than we possibly could have had in the past.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more things we can do in the game now as it's growing and as more players are coming along and as the game is growing naturally. There are many more things we can do. And part of that is directly influenced by what we as a group of players wanted to do. And PD took that on board and allowed us to... They allowed the game to accept what we wanted to do as characters, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And by the end of the game, we had done something that changed the world. And my most favourite moment of this event, and it's making me a little bit tearful right now.
I was going to say, dude, you're starting to get glassy-eyed.
So I realised one of the things I love about playing FAL is I can show a lot more emotion.
Yeah.
And I can get a lot more emotive because I'm behind a mask. I cry a lot as FAL. Like, I do. I'm not gonna lie. You know, FAL is a very emotional character.
I cry at the drop of the hat.
And I love it because I can do that and I can well up and I can feel all that emotion.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because my external appearance...
Yeah.
Appearance.
My external appearance
Yeah.
is still the same.
Yeah.
So Matt can be crying his eyes out,
Yeah.
but FAL is very much like stoic and not showing it off. Of course, you can see the fact that the face paint is dripping off my eyes, and you can see I go very pink under my... But
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
So just before, and I know I've waffled a lot,
Yeah.
and it doesn't... My favourite moment boils down to what I'm about to say.
Okay.
So you can skip all the rest. Just after I gave my gift to AD. The NPCs that were playing the delegates from the Commonwealth and the Sumer Republic and Axos and the Sarkovan Delves signed a bit of paper that, as far as I was concerned,
Yeah.
changed the world, and didn't just not in a nebulous sense, not in a it's changed the world.
Yeah.
It actually changed the dynamics of the game,
Okay.
and it meant that our characters had a legitimate effect on the entire wider world that only exists in the minds of a few people.
Yeah.
Because this world doesn't exist,
No.
and it only exists in the mind of the few people that interact with it.
Yeah.
It has a lot of effects in the Winds of Fortune and whatnot.
Yeah.
But what I thought was going to be a year or a 2-year process
Yeah.
was finished by the end of this event.
Yeah.
And that shows, if you prepare and if you work hard enough and if you truly believe what you want to do, then Empire as a game, and I now say this completely
Unbiased.
not unbiased, but sort of beyond just playing the game, Empire allows you to do things that you could never achieve in the real world.
Yep.
It allows you to be the best possible you. It allows you to be the best person you could ever be. It allows you to affect change. It allows you to
Live out your dreams.
live out your... Yes, exactly that.
It does. Like, you know, right behind you is my childhood dream. Like, I'd never be able to do it in real life. But I got to do that. I got to be the person that stood in the middle of a ring, holding a belt above his head.
It's not even because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to do this.
Mm.
And this isn't a spoiler.
We don't want to get in trouble for this one, now, do we?
The only reason we were able to do this, enact this change, this event,
Yeah.
was because of the sheer amount of work and preparation that all of these players did to get ready for the event, and that it forced it to happen. It was supposed to be a long-term, this is a goal we're going to achieve slowly, but because they just did a ridiculous amount of insane, amazing work, it happened.
Do you want to name drop anyone who you can, off the top of your head?
So they won't be watching this, but if they are,
Never know, man.
the people that affected this game, I've already rewarded, which is my last favourite thing. In fact, I've got another one, but still.
Thank goodness for that, 'cause I've so many.
I did my first judgment in the synod,
Yeah.
and I rewarded everyone who was involved from the Virtue Fund. So I'm not going to name drop anyone because there's way too many people.
Okay.
But this shows that we can do the impossible. We can do what we set out to do. And I know I've spoken a lot and I've not said much, but when I started FAL,
Yeah.
like 2 years ago, or 2 and a bit years ago, one of his goals, which was nothing to do with what I ended up doing, but one of my goals was, orcs used to be slaves. Let's see how far we can get to, in-game, getting rid of slavery.
Yeah.
And it's just happened.
Yeah.
It has actually just happened. And that's because people playing the game have made it happen. And I wasn't involved in it because I had so much other stuff to do. But just watching them do it, watching them achieve their goals that they set out to do, that they never even thought they were capable of doing.
Yeah.
And they smashed it. They utterly decimated that goal. I know that's totally the wrong words to use. But we never thought it was possible. We never thought the game would allow it.
Yeah.
And I got to stand there and I got to watch 3 people that had probably only been briefed the night before. I got to watch them sign a stupid bit of paper in a tent in the middle of a field while we were all having ridiculously overpriced drinks that we'd bought with fake money. I got to watch them sign a bit of paper that changed the game. And I got to thug. That's
Thug.
wrong.
That is wrong.
I got to stand there and I like held hold of Sammy's hands.
Yeah. Like that, as you're doing now.
Like this. And I just turned around to him as they signed it. And I just I burst into tears giving him a hug. And it was just the best. Just the best moment ever.
Oh my god, why am I crying? I wasn't even there.
Why did this get so emotional?
Right, well, you know what, Sammy?
I don't have emotion.
No, I've got a problem right now.
Okay.
Because the next time I say, do you want to go first? I think you need to go first. Because I have to follow that somehow.
You
So
do. I
thanks
get
for
I get to end this. I can go as crappy a story as I like.
So I've just realised I've looked at my list and that is my last thing.
There you go. So you do your last thing, I'll do my last thing, and we can bring this home.
Oh no, I don't just have one.
Go on.
I'll try and tie it all into one.
You have, but we've already been going about half
Can
an
I?
hour.
So I just.
Oh,
can
we've
I-
got more emotions. Yes, Mr.
So
Emotional.
I just want to say, because I know.
We've just had half an hour of you crying, mate. Come on.
So Chris, our egregore,
Yes.
only ever refers to Claire as Claire Evans of PD.
It is weird how he always does that.
So Claire Evans of PD, right? I know eventually you are going to get around to watching this, and by extension, hopefully Matt P.
Mans don't watch our show.
Your game is incredible, and it is the best stupid, ridiculous hobby we could ever have. I put what is in effect a latex condom on my head that I wear for 48 hours of a weekend for fun, along with 10 layers of bloody clothing that are the majority wool, so I'm always warm.
So warm.
I'm always, overheating, even if it's snowing. And my feet are sweating in my wellies.
I lose about 10 stone.
Because it's also raining, so my feet are damp and cold, but not because my feet are wet, but just because I'm really warm.
It's full circle now.
This stupid hobby is like the best bloody thing that's ever happened to us. And
Yep. I don't think you can say anything else that's going to top this.
And I just want to say hang on, I haven't finished.
Oh, oh, sorry, mate. Go on.
Oh, I just want to say thank you. Because as much as I like to send positive feedback, we get way too passionate about this hobby. and it is very easy to see the bad things and the negatives and the things we want to change to, in our minds, make this hobby better. But it's really good as it is.
You're damn right.
And yes, this is completely unbiased, but I think we have found the best game in the country to play. And for, what is it, Thursday to Sunday, so it's for like half a month of a year overall, we get to be our best possible selves in whatever fashion that takes. Whether that is a orc, or a highborn, or a freeborn, or a wintermarker, or part of the NPC crew, or whatever. This thing that we do is so unlike anything that exists in the world, and I can't be thankful enough that we are able to come and play this game. So thank you, everyone that runs this stupid game,
Yep.
because it's the best thing ever.
Whatever. Such a nerd.
You seriously, man. Why have you got emotions, man? God damn you.
Anyway,
I think...
look, you're gonna have to. Can I like speak later?
I
Right?
think-
And can you like make it go before that, because it's not as good as that.
I think we are going to end on that note.
Hang on.
No.
No, right.
Oh.
And
No.
Andrea, you've got another thing that you like, don't you?
Yeah.
So, can you say it now?
Okay, like it's several kind of things that kind of do actually culminate in one thing, right? So.
But
No, we're going to do this now.
But what?
I think that is a beautiful way to end the video.
Yes. Can you do some like wizardry to make it go before, like my thing go before that? Because that I can't top that, and this is not going to be anywhere near as emotional as that, even though it is emotional.
Okay. I guess I'll try.
So,
Editing.
look, if it doesn't work, we'll just end the video then. Cut it off. So like obviously I play a blind character.
Yeah.
And like my character has been through some shitty times, right?
Yeah.
Basically, like her whole banner got wiped out in the first year of play, except for her, and it was a shit show. And it's, I don't know what exactly has changed, but like there was a point in time where I was genuinely considering kiboshing it and just being like, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
This is genuinely sucky. Like, you can't really... I know there are people who do, but it is really hard to play Empire on your own. Like, it is so hard. Everything is geared towards being teamwork.
Yeah.
And when you're on your own, which is a big part of the orc brief, that you don't like that, it sucks. And, in the last kind of year or so, like, I don't know exactly what's changed, but something's changed. And, like, people engage with it a lot more than they did. Like, I've genuinely had people who don't want to talk to me just turn away from me when they realise that I can't, or Raw can't see them. And that was what kind of broke me. I was just like, yes, this isn't cool anymore. Anyway, because so many more people have been interacting with me, I had like the coolest thing happen. I met someone on the Thursday who then came and found me in character, and it was really cool. But they actually wrote a poem for me. Like, legitimately, on site, made a poem for Raw, and read it to them, read it to Raw, and we had like an exchange, and then I like went and fucking cried in my tent for a little bit. Because it was like, oh, someone's actually done this for my character. And like, that's like a little bit of love for my character that I don't know how that could have happened any other way. And then they came back and topped it the next day because they'd gone back to their tent after our little exchange and put it in Braille.
Wow.
And brought it to me so that I could have a copy of it that I could see. And like, they sat down with me and like put my fingers on all the dots across the paper and read it to me as we went along, and it was, oh my god. That was so nice. Like, I genuinely didn't know what to say after that happened. I was just sitting there going, what do? Someone's actually put that much time into like making something for my character. And little things like that kept happening this event. You know, me and Chris's egregore had a really nice little interaction where he was putting war paint over Raw, spoiler, Raw got burnt at Dubtreg. You know, what else would happen when you take someone blind into an inferno? Hence the... Anyway, that was cool. And Chris, like, painted war paint on my character's mask in character. And,
Yeah.
like, that was so cool. That was awesome. And, like, there was another point in time where, like, someone actually recognised me and Raw didn't recognise them because we never met. And it was, oh, thanks, Lou. That was just, it was cool. Little stupid things like that happened all the time. Yeah, I told you I couldn't top it.
No, I didn't know.
You
I
need
think
to end
that-
the video on Matt's
No,
one.
I think that's a good place. And Sammy, have you got a last thing that you found? Have you got a last favourite thing? Or is there anything you'd like to? Because I think we need to keep it in this order.
There's just no other setting that anything like what you said, and I can't imagine another setting so in depth and brilliant that something like that could happen to my character. And it's really powerful. Like,
Yeah.
Character bleed is a really interesting topic, I think. LARP House do a good video about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never suffered from it, so I wouldn't know. I can cut how it is with me.
I have only ever suffered with, well, I've only ever had character bleed at Empire properly.
But I think that might be worth a video of us chatting about.
Easy, because I got some deep stuff to go into.
Deep stuff, even more than Matt crying.
About that level, yeah.
Okay, wow. All right, well.
Do you have a last?
No, I'm golden, man. I'm a bit taken back by your one, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I'm so
Like with the last video, if you would like to comment your favourite moments from E1 or any favourite moments that you had interacting with the three of us, please feel free to comment, and then we will get all of them together and we will do a video on your comments. So with that said, I would like to wish you a goodbye.
Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for hopefully getting to the end of both of these videos.
Fingers crossed.
It's been
Emotional.
I think I've really, a lot of what I do I forget I do because I get caught up in the moment,
Yeah.
and I realise doing this has almost been a little bit of like a detox.
The Orcs plan to go for Sam, mate.
So I would very much like to do this again, Sammy and Andrew.
Hells yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
alright then.
All right, if you twist my arm, as long as you don't get so emotional next time, it'll be all right.
No. As long as you don't throw my cheese everywhere next time.
All right.
Alright?
All right.
Deal.
All right.
Deal? No, it wasn't even you. It was you.
Anyway,
Are you gonna? I think Andrew should end this.
you end it. We're gonna go down the pub. Come on, man. Let's go.
Don't take my cheese away.
We're going down the pub, Matt. Come on. Bye, Andrea.
Bye.